Okay, welcome to the next episode of the RS podcast. As you can see, this time we're going with an audio only. This is likely how it's going to continue most of the time. Occasionally we will have special ones where we do bother to set up cameras and stuff, but it's an awful lot of effort for
So, welcome to 99.5. The Weasel in the morning. Yeah.
So my intention is I'm going to create some kind of graphic to stay on screen, and I will occasionally bring other graphics on and maybe have clips and such from anything we're talking about, and we may end up having webcams going at some point as well, that kind of thing.
Okay, if we start doing clips, you're going to have to learn a couple rules. First, do not put anything by Nintendo on. You will instantly lose money. Second, do not put anything on from other companies. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but yeah, you will instantly lose all monetization. Mm-hmm. Unless you fancy doing what is known as I think it's the monetization gridlock, which is the funniest and stupidest thing around. But I don't really think we want to have to try and do that.
No.
Okay.
So the first thing on the list for this week's episode,
it's just all fucking
I'm going to start
in the wrong order.
It is. I'm going to start with the Bournemouth holiday because that'll explain why we missed a week.
Okay.
So last week, which will be last week for you guys because we're doing it this way, I should be able to upload them much quicker. So basically, last week I was away with my girlfriend and her family for the week down the south of England in Bournemouth. And Jill's typing funny things in the dock to confuse me. But yeah, no, it was a good week away. It was a hell of a drive down there, but it was definitely worth going. The weather was for God's sake, Joe. The weather was glorious. Got quite a lot of photos, got a video that's going to be coming out next week. You can check my Instagram, Facebook page for a lot of the photography. They're going up slowly over the course of the coming weeks. So yeah, that's also an explanation for why we missed a week, because I was away and the internet there was nowhere near good enough to even attempt to do a podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's that covered. We are right around the corner from shooting the Silence from the Coppers film that we mentioned in the past. The script has a couple of revisions that need doing, but it's essentially there. We've got filming dates vaguely planned.
I'm in charge of planning that right now.
Yes.
So I've got a lovely task after this to sit here for probably an hour and sort that out and make sure everything works. And after that I've got to make some more emails to try and find a job, because apparently the interviews and all the stuff I've been doing, I haven't heard back from them, so I need to go and check that. Also, I think all my tinkering with my microphone hasn't done a single thing. It looks like I'm peaking incredibly right now.
Right.
Give me a second.
My audio levels don't look any different to they have been, I don't think.
Yeah. I found out why.
What's
it
up?
decided to set itself back up to 90 when I put it down to 60. So I might just have to keep an eye on it and every now and then just
that's probably a good idea.
Go back down, because it's already up to 67 again.
Right, yeah.
Why can't I see it?
I wish Audition allowed proper control over it. Okay, I'm literally watching the audio levels go up. Why is it doing that?
This is a problem we both
does it just
have.
try, like, every time I speak, the audio levels go up?
Yeah, right now I'm having to actually talk quite loud to be picked up, because I can see the audio file, and it goes from being like, I don't know, mid-size to I'm touching both fucking ends to now I'm going back to looking like a tiny little sound wave. I'm slowly getting louder and louder as when I talk loud, but to my audio volumes go up.
Literally every time I talk, it goes up. Like, I'm watching it go up. I've put it now. Right, plus 5 dB, now it's plus 6 dB, plus 6.5 dB, plus 7 dB. Why the hell does Windows constantly change audio levels?
It's a bitch. As long as you're talking, it increases. I don't know why, and it's annoying as hell. And the more I fiddle around with it right now, it's like, great, I have to try and fix this whilst doing a podcast. And as soon as I try and change anything, the software is just going to say, oh, hey, you decided to, like, change something? Yeah, are you sure you don't want to check the settings again? And I'm just like, fuck it, no, I know I've changed stuff. I want it to be this. You're the one fucking changing it back.
Yeah, so from here is where Joe is picking up. I'm just saying that so I know when I'm putting these together.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, where were we?
Completely derailed. Completely trying to fix the microphones and it didn't work whatsoever, so now we're just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got Silence of the Caucus that you're working on.
Yes.
And I'm working on.
Yes, that's going into production and should be all good pretty soon. Might be a little while, like it's going to be a while until the final edit's all done and out, but yeah, we are go ahead on that and should hopefully be filming that very soon.
Yeah.
Not much more detail I can really say on that. Another project that we're going to be shooting very soon as well is the filmmaking masterclasses. We're going to be getting Lewis's done fairly soon, and then on to ours. Those are getting there as far as I'm aware. I haven't wrote anything for mine yet, but I know I've got like probably 3 weeks until I need to. We're going to start recording the GTA 5 Mastermind series, probably one episode next week, hopefully. Hopefully.
Next Thursday onwards is when we can start to do it.
Yes.
I do not know how big of an Ethernet cable I'm going to need, but I'm getting a very large one.
Right.
Simply because I imagine we're going to have our own fibre line put in.
Yeah.
And with the new fibre line being put in, I'm going to hope, hey, can I like specify where I want this line to be, kind of, I hope. Because if I can, then I'll just specify, get it as close to this wall as you can. If you can get it in this room's wall, beautiful. If not, get it as close as it to you can, and I will find a way of getting the cable to reach, because then I can just be permanently plugged in. But until he arrives and I can start to waft a couple of 20s in front of his face saying, hey, do you fancy climbing up the ladder and putting it right here? I can't do anything like that, so I'm going off the idea of a very long Ethernet cable, or the first time just being on Wi-Fi, and then the second time I'll have gotten an Ethernet cable by then.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should be pretty interesting to do. I'm quite excited to start filming that series. After the laugh that we had last night, I think it's going to be quite entertaining doing this series.
Really? Because I'm going to be losing a lot of money if I'm putting bounties on everybody's head the entire time.
Don't be putting bounties on everyone's head the whole time. That was really entertaining.
That's what makes it fun.
That was really.
If I don't put a bounty on your head, it's not fun. So therefore,
you can't do that during
all
the heist,
I have
though.
to do. No, but whilst we're waiting around for the heist to begin, and whilst we're waiting down in somebody's flat, I can easily do that.
That's very true.
And so it's just gonna be fucking bounties galore.
It was hilarious when you had that bounty on me yesterday, because Cole ended up stuck at the top of Mount Chiliad, didn't he? And I sent a mugger to go get him.
Yeah, that was quite funny to see.
Quite entertaining.
Oh, fucking hell, my audio's still fucking around.
So is mine, really badly.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it under 9. But
I'm like having to move myself away from the mic a bit, just so it's not quite as loud.
what do you think I've been doing the
Yeah,
entire time?
yeah.
I'm leaning back in my chair.
Yeah.
Because right now I just fucking hit a full 100 on
Oh,
that.
Jesus Christ.
You're going to be having so much fun trying to just normalise this audio.
So it's really bizarre though, because sometimes like I'm talking and it seems to be right exactly where I want it, and occasionally it just gets really, really loud for no reason at all.
Do we want to start off with movies, games, or something else for some reason?
Let's go with films, I think.
Films. Okay, what have you seen recently?
The most recent thing I've seen in the cinema was probably, it'll have been Spider-Man Homecoming,
Yeah.
which I've already talked about on the podcast. So, what else have I seen? The Defenders, as much as it's not a film, that came out on Netflix. That was superb.
Is it like a one-off hour and a half long TV show they're not going to make a sequel to?
No, it's 8
Or
episodes.
it's not like a series?
It's
Oh,
a
it is
series.
actually
It's full 8 episodes.
Okay.
8 hours of it.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, if it's just like a one-off one, it's a Netflix movie.
Mm-hmm.
That counts.
No, I mean, they are pretty much just like long films almost. It's like a film split, like extended out to be like 8 hours and then hour, like cuts at the hour mark.
So like The Hobbit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
It's The Hobbit, but this time we're doing Marvel.
Yes.
Except, guess what? They didn't fuck up by making it a movie.
Yeah. It, like, I don't think the Defenders would have worked, like, even their individual shows would have worked as well if they had gone with a film.
Yeah.
Like, I think it worked really well as a series.
Yeah.
Because they got time to be able to properly kind of develop the characters and such, as much as as much as they didn't really do a brilliant job in the individual series when it came to
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, and Luke Cage was a bit slow. They were still overall good, just not perfect. But as a whole, they did pretty damn well, I think, and The Defenders was very fun. I definitely would recommend watching it. It was really cool. It was definitely like a mini Defenders, seeing them all come together and stuff.
It's the Avengers, but on a small scale.
Yes.
And they only patrol like a 10-foot block radius.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's a bunch of kids pretending to be superheroes, except, wait, these are adults.
Yes. Kind of, yes.
I can see.
That's the
I
best
can see
way I can
kind of where this
describe
is
it
going.
anyway, yeah.
It's a good way of describing it. One of them is protecting the world. One of them is protecting downtown's 10th Street.
Yes. Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And like the chemistry between them was good and stuff, and they gave Iron Fist more than 10 minutes before rolling the camera to actually learn the fight scene choreography, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen Atomic Blonde, and I will say that is a very good film. If you know anything about the Cold War.
Right.
And just sort of that time period.
Right.
So, everybody's like, lots of secrets, lots of
Yes.
spying. You're not saying you're spying, nobody is saying they're spying, but everybody is spying.
Yes.
It's that sort of a thing. So
Right.
it's based during that time, just before the fall of the Berlin Wall. I think the idea is that a British spy has just been killed by a Russian KGB.
Right.
And they have just stolen some very sensitive data. I don't know why, but they seem to keep all of the important information in this film inside of wristwatches. Every single thing is written on side of a wristwatch. So
Right.
the entire film is about the Atomic Blonde spy
Okay.
trying to get this wristwatch. and
Right.
it is very good. Good aesthetic. It had quite a good soundtrack to it as well. Lots of Queen, lots of sort of time period-esque music.
Right.
But yeah,
Fair
quite
enough.
a good film. And like I said to you before the show, there are 2 scenes that every guy, or pretty much every guy, is just going to enjoy watching because, hey ho, you've got the 2 women spies who, of course, they put it in the trailer. So you made contact with the French spy. Yeah, I made contact with her. We fucking went back to my room and had sex. Of course I made contact with her. But hey ho, that's like a 2-second clip. You don't really see anything, but it's a good film, and the characters, they have a good emotional connection. You actually feel invested in it. There's some good plot twists. You can kind of try and guess what they are,
Right.
but you will probably guess wrong, so it's a better idea just to sit there and watch the movie and just go, hey, this is actually pretty good. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And at the end, you will just sit there and go, wow. Yeah, pretty good film. Wow.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I highly recommend that. It's a good soundtrack as well, just to listen to.
Yeah.
I will admit, when I'm sat here just doing a bit of work, I will put on the movie soundtrack and just listen.
Right. Fair enough. What is next on the agenda? Films that are coming out. There's It, that's coming out in like 2 weeks, I think, roughly.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a bit of an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, like, I remember I've seen some of the... Like, there wasn't...
Have you not seen many of the trailers for it?
I've seen the trailers, but was it a film or a TV series they did a few years back with the same character?
It was a film. It is literally a remake of the old film.
Right,
It.
okay. Yeah.
And there's the very famous scene of the kid going down to the sewer gutter.
Yes.
And you saw the clown there the first time. You've got the exact same scene this time where you see the clown. It is a remake of the film.
Okay.
A bit of a different story. Looks very interesting. Apparently, it seems like the clown isn't quite as scary initially.
Right.
But I'm sure with the fact that now that we have more modern graphics and more modern effects, they can do some stuff they couldn't do when you were doing practical effects. But then again, sometimes the practical does look a bit better than the CGI. So
Yes.
I'm not sure where it's going to go. It definitely looks like a movie that I will happily sit in a dark room one night and watch and see just what it's like and see if I actually scare myself.
Fair enough, yeah. Let's have a think.
You know what you need to do? You need to just go online, type in movies coming out in September, and just see what's coming out.
Well, I have, and one of the interesting ones that I spotted was a film called 9/11. That's coming out
when
in
does that come out?
on the 8th of September, the day before the anniversary of 9/11.
They couldn't even fucking get that right.
Like, if you're gonna do it, at least get it right.
Don't ever make a film about 9/11. Don't ever. Because as soon as you do, all the conspiracy theorists are going to be yelling at you. 2,
Yes.
it's a very touchy topic. 3, how about we not start making films about a terrorist attack?
Like,
or more glorifying
yeah.
what happened in a terrorist attack.
Because I remember there's one film about it that I've seen that didn't glorify it and just showed the brutality of it, and was probably the only film I've watched when Nick Cage isn't over the top and irritating. He captured that kind of role quite well.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't need any more 9/11 films other than that one.
I'm pretty sure all of the online footage of 9/11 is more than enough footage. We don't need anybody recreating it in a film.
No, we don't.
But it's certainly going to be a film that I'm going to watch just because, well, then I can say I watched it and get on the bandwagon of everybody screaming at why the hell was this made.
Yes, that's a good idea. I'll probably try and see it too. I don't know when it comes out in the UK. Let's have a look.
Probably not for a while. Movies come out in America, then they come out in England. We have a waiting
depends.
list for
We
some
get
reason.
like Marvel films early.
Yeah, but I've actually seen there's quite a few films where we don't get the trailers and we don't get the releases
Yeah.
a bit after, so I'm not sure if we'll get that straight away if it is an American film.
It's only being released in the US and Japan.
Why Japan?
Yeah, that's what
I want to
why?
see the dubbing on that shit. I want to see the guy who has to sit there and fucking dub all of the American, or even the voice actors who have to go there and try and sound like an American actor while speaking Japanese. It would be so good.
Oh god, yeah, that's this. I can't see this film being well received.
No, I don't. It might be well received if I watch the trailer and if I do a bit of digging into it, but just off of hearing it, I don't think it's gonna go down very well.
I'm literally playing the trailer now.
Well, if you still have Skype open, I'm going to ask you to open up the link that I sent you, and I want you just to simply watch Mr. Dinosaur.
I will. Okay, why is it's got Charlie Sheen in it? Why has it got Charlie Sheen in it?
I don't know, because it does.
It's got Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg. And a woman that I recognise but can't remember her name.
Charlie Sheen, Whoopi Goldberg. And Gina Jensen.
I'm definitely popping this trailer in the clip here for the podcast because that was hilarious. I'm only a minute into a 2-minute trailer and it's going through all this drama, and then just in big bold letters it says, based on true events.
No shit, Sherlock! What else is this based off of? Me
It's a
dropping a
film
fucking
about
shit in the toilet last
9/11.
night.
It's a film about
What
9/11
do you
for
think
Christ's
is it
sake.
about?
They're using actual footage from 9/11, which I don't think is a bad thing.
If they're using real footage, then it's going to be a mixture of sort of like that found footage look and...
Well, like all
Real
it's all like
footage?
news reports on the TV kind of thing, and
Yeah.
then it's like it's cutting basically between
The
a shot of a
elevators.
TV showing the actual events, a bunch of people trapped in one of the elevators, and the
Whoopi
family
sat at a
of-
control station, and then the families. I just want to see this, nothing more than I want to see Whoopi Goldberg in control of a bunch of people in an elevator, telling them, "You gotta get out, man. You gotta get out." That just sounds amazing. Oh, this film is getting better, not because of the story, but because of the actors. Okay.
Okay, this looks genuinely really bad.
It doesn't look like a good film.
No, it
looks
does not.
like a film that I don't really want to watch, but I'm gonna, simply because then I get the comedic value of watching it.
Yeah. Another film that's coming out in not too long, it's a couple of months away, but I'm still very excited for it as we've been getting a lot of new info about it. Thor Ragnarok
Yeah, here
comes
it
out
goes.
pretty soon. Very, very excited for that film.
We're work colleagues. We used to work together. Who the fuck are you? Smash.
It's because of smashing. No pun intended. The smashing together two really brilliant storylines: the Ragnarok storyline and the Planet Hulk storyline.
Yeah.
Both of which are like really popular storylines, and the Planet Hulk is, from what I understand, is certainly one of my favourite ones, and a lot of fans' favourite storylines for the Hulk.
Yeah. One thing that
yeah.
I always keep forgetting is, why are there more than one Hulks?
What do you mean?
Like, you have the Hulk, and then you have Planet Hulk, which has more than one Hulk on it, doesn't it?
No.
Oh, I thought there was more than one Hulk, which is where my idea of, where the fuck have these other Hulks come from? We know how Banner became it, but how the hell did these guys become it? What, they just naturally have a bunch of gamma radiation just flowing out the core for some reason? Okay, if he's the only one, understandable.
Yeah, it's called Planet
now.
Hulk because he basically, the planet's called Sakaar, I think, if I remember rightly.
And he's the only one on it.
Kind of. He's the only. So it's a gladiator slave fighting planet.
Yeah.
And as you can see in the trailer for Ragnarok, you kind of see that kind of gladiator thing, and basically what happened in the comic book storyline, and is what probably is going to happen in the film, is Hulk ends up landing on there after being banished from Earth, and he basically, because of the atmosphere, Banner can't survive, so Hulk takes over to keep him alive. So he's basically trapped in Hulk form, and becomes more intelligent and sentient as Hulk, and less of just a big green rage monster, and becomes a lot more of a much closer to being an actual person.
Still be Banner at the same time. I can be Hulk and still be Banner at the same time, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Like, while he's in Hulk form, he's a lot more, like, he's become a lot more intelligent, and he can talk, as you can see in one of the trailers, and that kind of thing. Like, he's definitely a more intelligent, more capable being by this point.
Yeah.
And he realises what's going on. He gets forced to fight a few times, gets sick of it, so he basically ends up rising up against the person who runs it all, and ends up freeing all the slaves and such, and hence why it becomes called Planet Hulk, because he basically becomes the ruler of that planet as Hulk. And then that it ties into the Infinity War storyline, because when Thanos came to Earth regarding the Infinity Gauntlet in the comics, Hulk wasn't there still, but through whatever means heard that Thanos was coming to grab the Infinity Stones and destroy Earth, so he brought his entire army from Planet Hulk across to help.
Yeah.
So imagine the kind of mixing that in a little bit with the fact that Thor's there, and that's going to be kind of the tie and stuff like that.
Yeah. It definitely looks like it's going to be a good film when it comes out.
I'm really excited to go see it.
I'm just waiting until December, and I get to see what happens.
Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah. I've got to wait around until then for that, and it looks okay. There's too much hype behind it, so I'm not really getting into it. I'm just like, it's going to be another film. There's another one coming after it, so the story's not finished. I just wonder where it's going to go there.
Yeah.
So I'm just calmly staying out of it all and just going, I'll find out eventually, I assume.
Fair enough. I've queued up the Super Mario Odyssey trailer.
Okay.
I can't put this clip in because Nintendo will sue the shit out of us.
No, but you can put the picture that I will send you, and it's going to be perfect.
Okay, I'm starting it now. So this is kind of a live reaction to this.
Well, it's more just the fact that you haven't seen it, so you don't know what's coming. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have seen it. But
that's a dinosaur.
If you get confused about anything, just ask. I'll let you know.
Mario has eyes on his hat.
Yeah. Guess what you can do with Mario's hat?
What?
Keep watching, man. Keep watching.
Okay, so he has multiple hats now
Yes.
that
He
do
can wear
different things.
sombrero.
He can, like, throw them. Okay. That's a sombrero.
I think it's just aesthetics. You can make Mario look like he's a mariachi. You can make him look like he's Uncle Sam. I don't think there's that much difference between the different ones, but I haven't played the game, so I don't know. But I think it's just more that's aesthetics. If I'm wrong, then I'm looking forward to being able to be Mexican Mario inside
became a
of
frog.
what looks like downtown New York.
So basically, you can use his hat to become anything.
Yeah, you can take control of enemies. So do you remember that T-Rex you saw at the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
T-Rex Mario. Fuck yeah! That was the most hyped thing I have ever seen. T-Rex Mario. Why? I think Nintendo just finally went, you know what, let's just let the fans go wild with this shit. So, it seems like Bowser has a hat, Mario has a hat. They're both controlling all the different stuff around them by throwing their hats at people and then jumping inside of them. So...
Wait, was that Donald Trump?
I don't know. I don't think it was, because this game was probably in production back when Obama was in administration. I think it's just a placeholder that kind of looks like him. But
Okay, yeah, because one of them looked a lot like Trump for a second there.
yeah, it'll have been in production far longer than Trump's power reign.
That looks interesting. If I had a Switch, I would probably buy it, but I do not, so I won't.
Yeah, Switches are definitely going to be a fun thing for if I am ever just sat in my room and I don't fancy having to look at the screen across my bed. I'll just get the Switch out and play it on that. But yeah, looks like it's going to be a fun little game.
It
comes
does.
out in October, so not too long now to wait for that.
Right.
But one game that I am personally looking an awful lot towards is Monster Hunter Worlds. Simply because I love Monster Hunter and I've been playing it for ages. I used to play it back on the PSP. And we are finally getting a good Monster Hunter game in English on the PC. Because we haven't had one in English on the PC. We've had a PC Monster Hunter MMO, but you had to translate it from, I think it was Chinese or Korean. There was no English translation, so you had to learn fucking another language just to play the game, which I was learning, but not exactly that committed to. And now that we finally get one for PC, I can just say, great, I will happily sit here for hours on end and hunt monsters to my heart's content. It is such a great game. I love it. And it seems like we've got even more hunter styles to mess around with. You can be aggressive as hell, you can be a bit more defensive if you like. You can still be as an acrobat and start launching yourself on top of the monsters, and it seems now if you launch yourself on top of them, they will actively sort of swing around and hit into trees. So instead of it just being, oh, you're on the monster, better hold on, it's shaking, it's now like, oh great, the monster's charging at the tree. How about you get on the side he's not charging at the tree with? It makes it a bit more like, bit cooler, bit more sort of interactive. I'm looking forward to that. I still have my long swords, so I can still run around and have a giant glowing lightsaber, which sounds a bit interesting, but when you play it and you realize, yeah, you kind of do get a lightsaber, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that come out. That comes out, I think, next month,
Right.
which is going to be a great little download for me to play on. And I see you're hovering over some stuff. What are you wanting to talk about?
We'll do the game stuff first, and now I've got a couple of camera things I want to mention, so if you want to go on to the one I've highlighted.
Okay, Destiny 2. You
Yes.
haven't played Destiny, have you?
No.
Do you know any of the story behind it?
I've watched trailers, I've watched Achievement Hunter play a bit. The most understanding I have of it is you're in space and you go to different planets, right? Kind of.
Put it in the most basic form, yes. There's raiding, it's open world, but you can go into sort of pubs.
Isn't it like World of Warcraft, but in space?
You want to know what it basically is? It is an MMO that is a first-person shooter.
Right.
So instead of it being you running around with swords and shields and wizard hats, you've got a bunch of guns.
Okay.
You've got different classes, but you're running around with a bunch of guns. But it is basically just a first-person shooter MMO for the consoles, because consoles haven't ever really had an MMO that has stuck, and it seems like Destiny has kind of stuck around, so they're making the sequel and they're bringing it to PC as well. I don't know if I'm going to dip into it, simply because MMOs, the daily grind, I'd rather not. But at the same time, if I get codes for it from some friends of mine, then I might just jump on and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And yeah, might have a bit of fun, see what it's like. Besides that, I don't really... There's been a few releases and a bit of stuff going on with Gamescom. I'm not going to re-emphasize everything that's going on at Gamescom. Go look at that shit yourself. There's too much to talk about, and everybody in their mother is making a video on Gamescom, so I'm just doing the stuff that seems interesting to me. And finally, I'm just going to talk about one of these. Mini Metro is an adorable little game that I'm playing right now as a stress reliever, and it is one of the cutest little games I've ever found. You know how Metro systems always seem to be set up in the worst fucking system?
Yes.
Like, you want to go 5 minutes down the road, but you have to spend like 20 minutes on the Metro because you have to go to somewhere else first.
Yes.
This game teaches you why that is, because you start off with 3 locations that you need to link up on a Metro.
Right.
And then a 4th one pops up as they build a new station there. And then another one pops up here. But the problem is, you only have a limited number of lines you can put into a city. You only have a limited number of trains. So you have to start to extend this line here, and you've got to try and make sure that this Metro line can link up to this one, because what if they need to get across the city? They have to stop off here and then change Metro lines. But because the locations are random, and because the map has rivers and other like obstacles, like crossing lines and distance and different shapes means that you need different passengers, it very quickly becomes oh my god, this is the most complicated thing I've ever done. It is incredibly fun to play. You don't get stressed out at it, even though you looking at it and seeing all the trains and all the passengers, you would think it's stressful. It is so much fun just to sit there and play for like an hour or two. I was playing it this morning and completely lost 2 hours without realizing it. It is a cute game. It's for PC and it's for mobile.
Right.
I would recommend it a lot better for mobile, because if you're sat there and you're just like, hey, I've got like 10 minutes to kill, you can pull it up and you can start playing it with no problem whatsoever. PC, if you want to sit there and not really do anything for like half an hour, you can get like 2 or 3 games in, have a bit of fun, nice relaxing game. But unless you're like listening to a podcast or you're watching a TV show, so you kind of pay attention to that, kind of pay attention to the game, I wouldn't really say it's very much a PC game. It's cute, it's easy to play, but I'd say it's definitely more a mobile game that's just been ported to the PC. It's not a bad port, it's great, everything works flawlessly, but it's definitely more of a mobile game than it is PC.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a good little game that I do recommend. I've been having quite a bit of fun with it.
Fair enough.
So, let's hear about the cameras. What's going on in the camera world?
There's one release and there's a couple of rumours / announcements / releases. So, Nikon today or yesterday, I cannot remember, like it's been within the past like 2 days, has announced the new Nikon D850. Normally I don't really give a damn about DSLRs, but this seems like Nikon have gone, okay, let's not even bother considering how many of our own products we're going to step on with this. Let's just make the best camera we can with all technology that are at our hands. So the new it's replacing the D810, which was a successor of the D800. That line is famous for being kind of more a landscape-oriented camera, portraiture and such. It's kind of it's the highest end professional camera they do before you get to their like flagship.
Yeah.
It's got the same autofocusing system at the D5, which is the flagship. It's got the same batteries as both the D810 and D800 used, with the same battery grip model, which is the MBD18, which means that when you've got one of its own batteries and also the battery grip with that specific battery grip battery thing, it's like a big long extended battery. When you have all that together, basically, I don't think you'll ever run out of battery, even if you shot for a week. Pretty much, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's good.
It's got a 45.7 megapixel sensor, which is, I think, the highest Nikon's ever done, and it can shoot that at 7 frames a second. Which, considering I think that's even in RAW.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but 45, that's essentially 8K RAW.
That's not bad at all.
The only other cameras that could, like in equivalence, the only things that can technically do it faster are the red helium cameras, because they can shoot 8K 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
But they also cost 50 grand, not 3.5. Like, this costs a second-hand car. The red cost a very, very nice brand new car.
Yes.
So, like, it's understandable that it's not going to be quite up to that capability. Its ISO range is quite interesting. It has a minimum of 64 ISO, which is low in itself. The lowest I normally have been able to go on any of my cameras is 100, but it can actually be extended down to 32 ISO, which means you can basically take a photo of the sun at a wide aperture and it probably be fine. It's quite insane. I feel like if you want to get hyper slow shutter speeds, that'll be super easy with this camera, which is likely something you're probably going to do with it, since it's got a built-in 8K time-lapse feature, so you could easily do super slow shutter speed time-lapses in 8K.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's got 4K video, which is nice. It's only up to 30p, but could be worse.
Could be better,
can't expect
worse.
4K 60 out of Nikon. That's not going to happen for a while. But yeah, apart from that, it's about £3,500, so about the same in dollars, because we all know that they don't bother to do proper exchange rate
conversion rates.
Yeah, they don't bother doing that properly ever. The other main one is Sony's Cine Alta camera. Looks like its new one is going to be announced next week, I think. Let's have a look. No, not next week, the following week. Wednesday, September 6th. It looks like there's going to be a new full-frame Cine Alta camera from Sony, which is interesting, because the only other people doing full-frame in cinema is Ari and Red. Yeah. So Sony are trying to get in on the game. Full 36 by 24mm sensor.
They can have a bit of fun. They can try.
Yeah, I think Sony are basically pushing the boat out on everything, and are basically trying to say, look, we can do as good, if not better, than most of the camera companies on the market. Give us a chance. Yeah. And a lot of people are giving them that chance, and they're making a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
And so I'll talk more about that in the podcast following that announcement. And the only other one it's rumoured, but looks like next week we get an announcement for a new camera from Olympus, the OMD EM10 Mark III. The Mark II is something I've considered versus the Panasonic GX80 as a smaller kind of travel camera that I've been looking at possibly getting in the next couple of years, just purely for travel.
Yeah.
They're tiny and whatnot, so it's just easier to take around and not draw as much attention to yourself and that kind of thing. But the M10 Mark II, the previous one, didn't have 4K video, which is why I was swaying more towards the Panasonic, but it's rumoured that the Mark III is going to be getting 4K video. So it's likely I'm going to go for that one because they do have a significantly better viewfinder, and generally it's just a slightly better camera all around. So if they've got 4K video, then it's probably what I'm going to be getting.
Yeah, it's worthwhile getting that one.
Yeah, and the announcement for that is going to be the 31st of August at sometime in the morning, London time. Hopefully.
Some ridiculous time in the morning because, of course, we're going off of American times.
Oh no, because it'll be announced. It's going to be it'll either be the evening of August 30th in the US is when they'll be announced now, or depending, they might also, because Olympus is a Japanese company, they might be announcing in Japan at like normal daytime, but obviously we're further behind. I don't know where the announcement's happening, but I know that's the rough time it's meant to be for us in the UK.
Yeah.
But yeah, that concludes all camera news really. There's nothing else particularly interesting happening as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it's about everything that's been going on really in the past week.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this audio only type podcast maybe works a bit better. I don't know, I think it might have done, simply in the fact that like the ones where we set up on my dad's are a pain.
Travelling around as much, set up, put away, when we can just as easily do it from computers. We can actually look up the material whilst we're talking about it, and also we have the benefit of, if we need to reschedule or if somebody's running a bit late, you're not waiting around in a car with a bunch of gear. You can just say, okay, well, I'll sit at the computer, do my own thing for a bit, and then when you come on, we can do it. It's much easier for us as well.
Much easier for us, and it also means that while travelling I can still actually do this on my laptop as well, since I have all the same stuff. So as all this is just going to be a much easier way and more effective way for us to do this podcast, hopefully. So I think that's concluding.
And that's this week.
Yeah, that concludes this week. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace.